Good morning, or good evening, or whatever time of day you are with us. I'm so glad you're here. We are gathering virtually as a community for the very first time at Eliot Chapel. I'm speaking to you from Robertson, my apartment, so welcome to our home. If you have a candle or a chalice, I invite you to light it with me. You can actually pause and go get it if you want. Our children make this look so easy. I light the chalice of our Unitarian Universalist faith. We light this chalice for our faith community as we join others all over the world coming together at this strange and uncertain time. May this community be a blessing to each other and to the world. I invite you now into a time of prayer or meditation. If you wish to, you may plant your feet flat on the floor, straighten your spine, close your eyes, and follow your breath. And hear these words by poet and UU minister, the Reverend Lynn Unger. Pandemic. What if you thought of it as the Jews consider the Sabbath, the most sacred of times? Cease from travel. Cease from buying and selling. Give up, just for now, on trying to make the world different than it is. Sing, pray, touch all those whom you commit your life. Center down. And when your body has become still, reach out with your heart. Know that we are connected in ways that are terrifying and beautiful. You could hardly deny it now. Know that our lives are in one another's hands. Surely that has become clear. Do not reach out your hands. Reach out your heart. Reach out your words. Reach out all the tendrils of compassion that move invisibly where we cannot touch. Promise this world your love, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, so long as we all shall live. I invite you now to dwell together in shared silence, meditation, and prayer. Into this shared communal silence, you may speak the names of all those you wish to be held in the love of this congregational community. You may also type the names into the comments. It could be your own name. We'll pray for you. Amen. So, this week, think back, those of you who were there, how you felt on Friday at our trivia night, laughing and eating too many snacks and winning a raffle basket and getting that one answer wrong that you were just sure you were right about. How different it feels from right now. Something started changing for me the very next day, I have to say. I started realizing that I was feeling anxious. Maybe it started a little bit for you then too. As you know, I fit two different categories of the three high-risk categories for COVID-19. And so I decided, well, what's one more thing that I can do to feel more at ease, to keep myself calm and centered? And I realized that that was going to be staying at home more. Now, as an introvert, it really wasn't a big stretch for me to do that. In fact, I think my husband might not have noticed very much. It did help. And now a lot of people, more and more people I'm hearing, are starting to do this. Maybe you have too. We are feeling vulnerable. And we are preparing. We're preparing. And we're really not sure what we're preparing for. So we're buying stuff. Robert came in last night, and I think I could safely say that in almost 17 years of marriage, my spouse has never before entered our house yelling, "I got toilet paper!" He was pretty psyched. He had gone to 3 stores. I put a picture of him and the toilet paper triumph in the comments. You can look at it if you want. And he told me that he was startled to watch a woman, he said, load up her cart with three jumbo packs of toilet paper, like the 16 count ones. And he thought, really? Now, you could say that somebody like this was hoarding, and maybe, or you could say that maybe just buying that one extra pack of toilet paper made her feel a little less scared. Who's to say? Truth is, we really just don't know what we're going to need or how much. We are preparing for something that we've never experienced before, something that most people around us in this time have never experienced. And we've seen and heard reports from different countries where the outbreak has been happening. First China, then Italy, then other countries. And I remember back in December, I was thinking, wow, those poor people in China. And then I thought, well, those people in Italy. And then it happened in Seattle and then Boston. And people in Seattle started telling us, start preparing now. Don't wait for it to be more apparent that you should. Close down public events. Don't wait. But it didn't seem real, did it? I decided, hearing all of this, I decided at that point to suspend all in-person gatherings at Eliot Chapel. I did this on Tuesday, and the letter went out on Wednesday, and it felt like a bold move. It felt like, wow, there's only one confirmed case in St. Louis. Isn't it a little soon? And by Friday, things had changed so much that it just seemed common sense. And, everybody was doing it. Whole sports seasons are being canceled, and schools are closing. And, well, thank goodness. This could save hundreds, if not thousands, of lives. And we can be part of that. And that's one good thing we can do. We know that. And it's also a week of losses. Going to visit your grandchildren. Going on your trip to San Francisco. My sister and her husband canceled their 50-year wedding anniversary cruise. And we have to grieve a little bit. There's also the losses of things that make up our daily routine and give us contact with other people. Going to church, going to school. The Kirkwood Y has started to close down some of their classes and their programs. Imagine a season without Cardinals baseball, or any other sport, or or a concert that you love. At Eliot, I think the loss has been hardest on our youth. The spring lock-in, their con, which is what we call youth conferences, a trip for 3 of our youth to the UN climate conference in New York City, once in a lifetime events for these young people, gone. And, if any of our youth are watching this, we want you to know, we see you. We feel your pain and your loss, and we love you. So our youth and we have to grieve a bit this week, and that's okay. It's also been a week to feel anxious. Maybe you're worried about somebody you love, or yourself, or the world. Now, you'll hear a lot of talk. I've heard a lot of talk about, remaining calm, and it's not useful to panic. I know, but remaining calm all the time might not be possible right now. The motto, stay calm and carry on. Not gonna happen, at least not all the time. So for myself, I changed it a little bit. So try this. Keep calm, freak out for a minute, come back, and carry on and wash your hands. I think it's only natural in this kind of situation to lose it a little bit. So be gentle with yourself and know that most likely it will pass, this sense of anxiety and helplessness. The Vipassana meditation tradition teaches that feelings come and go within us like the weather. They just pass through, and no feeling is going to last forever. You won't always feel this way. Notice if you find yourself upset, just notice it. Wait a while. Talk to a friend, get some sleep, and knowing that the feeling will pass can actually help you feel a little bit calmer all by itself. And if it doesn't, please call your church. We are here for you. We want to help you. My sponsor in my 12-step program helps me to calm down. I call her up, and usually she'll listen to whatever it is I'm worrying about, and she will empathize. And then she'll remind me that I really don't have any control anyway. And I can pray for guidance about what to do, but I still don't have control over the results, the outcome. Do the footwork, she says, and leave the results up to God. Or the universe, if you like. And then she'll tell me one more thing. And this, I would say, is probably one of the most helpful things that she does. Even when I really don't know how I can do this. She says, find someone that you can help. Find someone you can help. In the middle of all of this, finding somebody that you can help is a real tonic. At Eliot, we are figuring out how to people who are really isolated now. Our pastoral care associates are drawing up lists of people who are some of our most vulnerable folks. If you'd like to help make phone calls to these people, just please let us know. Or just call someone up. We are going to be finding ways in the next few weeks to help people be helpful to each other, because it really does. It does help. It helps you. We also need to stay connected, I think. And yet, it's really strange. In a time when we need to be most connected, we're being asked to self-isolate. Isolation plus a sense of scarcity with a little fear thrown in is really not a good recipe for human behavior. I have to say that there is a noticeable rise. I'm hearing a noticeable rise in hate crimes against Asian Americans. There's a big drop in customers for Asian-owned businesses. And isolation and anxiety can lead us to suspecting people who aren't from us. And we're going to see more of this, I'm sorry to say. We're going to, especially as time goes on and people are a little bit irritable and maybe more than a little bit irritable, we're all susceptible to something like that. And we'll need to be reminded and brought back to our best selves. Remind each other again and again, this is who you are. This is who you want to be. I'll do that for you if you'll do that for me. Because we do know what's possible, right? We do know what's possible. People have survived terrible things and they've come together. Rebecca Solnit wrote, we survive by coming together. We survive by coming together. During World War II, when there was a shortage of produce, people were asked to make victory gardens. That was just having a garden in your yard, and they called it a victory garden. And I just learned that 1/3 of the vegetables that Americans ate during World War II were from people's gardens. I think that's amazing. They stayed connected in the midst of really frightening times, and so can we. We don't know yet what's coming, what is coming. And we really don't know what it will be like, how we will come together in our time. Some of this coming together will be online, and for some of us, it will be just doing a little bit more of what we're doing already, not a big deal. I know for others, it is a foreign type idea and a bit of a nuisance, but I think you might be surprised that this doesn't really neatly fall into age categories. I think we're more alike than we might realize. I was talking with Scott Stewart, who's our Director of Religious Education and our youth leader, and he said that when the youth events were canceled, adults were kind of scurrying around and suggesting these kind of online substitutions, and it just wasn't cutting it with the youth. In my naivete as a late wave baby boomer, I just naturally assumed that younger people would be a lot more sanguine about connecting virtually, but they were devastated. And as somebody explained to me, youth are in the virtual world all the time. The world exists online, almost all the time. I mean, at least more often than older people. And because of that, youth see face-to-face gatherings as being all the more precious. They are rare. And so it will become for all of us in the next few weeks. There really is something important about seeing someone in 3 dimensions, in being able to touch them. It's why separations are so hard. When I was about to leave last February in hopes of getting a lung transplant, I decided that I was going to pass out little fuzzy hearts to give to our children. And then I realized I wanted to give one to everybody. And, of course, you never know what someone is going to do when you give them something. And so when I came back, I was delighted to see that some of them were on people's name tags. Some people told me that they put theirs on their bathroom mirror or the keyboard of their laptop computer. I put mine on the black pill organizer I got from Walgreens. This is a book, sort of like one of those sweet story lifesavers books that we used to get at Christmas time, but just seeing the little fuzzy pink heart in the morning and in the evening, it really did help me feel connected to you. It was something tangible. So I wondered if we could create something tangible in our homes to stay connected now, to create church wherever we are. Now, one way to do this, I think, would be to make some kind of an altar. I put a picture of my home altar in the comment section. I've had variations of this altar for a long time. I used it as a place for meditation and prayer. But you could have it anywhere. You could put it anywhere. The altar itself is very simple. It's a strip of cloth. The one on my altar came from the rag bin at a church sale. I got way back when I was in seminary, more than 20 years ago. And it has different colors of wax on it. I could clean it off with no problem, but I like it that way. It has a history. So that means, of course, that there's a candle on my altar. It's a focal point and a symbol of hope. The small rock is a keepsake from the fall retreat that I had with colleagues just this year. It connects me to them. And the larger polished rock is a special kind of amethyst that only forms in northern Minnesota. It connects me to my home and my family. And I'm thinking about adding a chalice to connect me specifically to Eliot Chapel. I have one here. This is our home chalice. But if you don't have one, they're easy to make with a clay flower pot and a plate. I put an example of one in the comments also. Now the flower pot chalice, it is kind of a UU Sunday school classic. Just remember, 5-year-olds make these. I think we can too. I'm going to try to make one this week and put it up. If you do make one, or if you have one, I would encourage you to put a picture of it up on the Eliot Facebook group, or put it in the comments of this sermon, this service, or a picture of your altar. And don't worry about being arty or fancy. In fact, the simpler that it is, the more it encourages other people to make one. So, not much more to say, I think, except let me just say I love you and I miss you. So keep the light on and do keep the faith. Now, may the love which overcomes all differences, which heals all wounds, which puts to flight all fears, which reconciles all who are separated, be in us and among us now and always. Amen. and go in peace.